year, my dad succumbed to a stroke but did not die, hopefully. Well, fortunately, he is only paralyzed to the left, and his stroke damaged his brain to the left, and he has seizures from time to time, meaning the stroke will never get better. This is, okay, he does have sugar diabetes on one side, right? But this is the result yokuthi ube ubaba ocabanga kakhulu. Ube ubaba obengakakhulumi. He did not want anyone to know what he was going through, at what time, and at what moment. You would only hear him cry at like 3 a.m. if you wake up now and he's praying at that time. That would be the only time you hear him cry, right? And the whole experience then also made us feel like mhlambe we are not giving him a platform enough to be vulnerable as a man. I feel like a lot of men in our lives have put themselves in a space where without provision they don't know who they are. When they can't bring bread on the table, they lose their essence. But we need more than that. We need more than provision, financial provision. We need spiritual provision. We need recreational provision. We need emotional provision. But many a times, indoda maikuli, so unlike us females, we have a broad category of what wives need to do or what girls need to do in order to be approved or whatever. But for men, indoda nginkomo zayo. So when my dad was no longer able to have inkomo in this sense, he crashed out alone, internally, with no one to turn to, not even other fellow men. You understand? Because that's now the other problem. Us as females, we do have a village. In as much as, contrary to popular belief, women have a village. If men and you are going through something, you can literally go next door, and you'll get it. But baba, chances are you might not even come out with anything, you know. So that is also just to highlight that as men, you are more than just your possessions. Because when they are gone, who are we going to remember you as? When you can no longer work, what are we going to remember you for? So in the instance of my dad, besides the fact that he wasn't able to provide financially for us, he was there, very supportive, very caring, loving, etc., which made it easy for us to take care of him. If you can go to Ebara or Liratong or these public hospitals and check the male wards, those wards are very devastating. They have no one next to them, you know? And that is highly dependent on how they treated people when they were okay. That is dependent on how they nourished their homes when they were okay. So this is to say to every man sitting here, you are more than just the ability to make money. You are more than just your star education. You are more than just your PhDs, your cars. You are more than that. And God values you in a sense that you are more than that. Because life is so unpredictable, especially now. You know, back then, I think men's mental health was not such a big thing because life was easy. You grow up, you get married, you find a job, you die. It's that simple, ne? Yeah, that's sequence. But today, I'm 25. I recently lost my preschool business. I thought I had made it out of the hood, you know, I'm back. And all of a sudden I have to start from scratch again. That's how our life these days is. And I feel that in as much as the girl child is being groomed, there is no boy child that is ready to receive what we are being trained for. You know, and I think even as the parents of boy kids that are coming up, may we teach our boys to be vulnerable. There is nothing wrong. In fact, there is so much power in vulnerability, in accepting that we are human. And more than anything, Jesus himself, he wept. That is the reference that men need to take from the Bible all the time, irrespective of the Indodaikali, whatever. Jesus wept. And to weep is not is to literally wail and fall on your knees and cry. Because we have tears because they are an expression of an emotion. So when you suppress them for far too long, what happens to the wiring of your brain? What happens to your heart? What happens to all of that? Where do those emotions go? Where are they stored? So when we reference in the Bible where it says Jesus wept, we need to always remember that it's okay, because Christ came in human form so that he may live out our experiences in human flesh and still show us the divinity in humanity. So today I speak directly to every heart of every man, not just about survival, but healing. There's a silent struggle that men go through. Many men suffer in silence. They are taught to toughen up and carry on. But mental strain ignored becomes spiritual wounds unattended. Even in scripture, we see the cost of silence and unresolved pain. In 1 Samuel 16 verse 14, now the Spirit of the Lord had departed from Saul, and an evil spirit tormented him. Saul ignored his inner turmoil, and it led to jealousy, rage, and disobedience. Unhealed minds distort God's voice. We might think that, those are wounds that he's not ready to deal with. We might see men being difficult for no reason, but as a firstborn child, I somewhat kind of know the struggles that men go through because of being a firstborn daughter. I have some sort of expectations from my family. So I'm female, they might be a little lighter, but you can imagine if I feel that way, how much more of a man that is expected to show out. So can we be kind to our men? Every chance we get, we be kind. And we are only kind to good men. This is not a general. We are kind to good men. 1 Kings 19 verse 14. Elijah said, I have had enough, Lord. Take my life. Even this mighty prophet felt overwhelmed. But God did not rebuke him. Instead, he nourished Elijah and gave him rest. Even God's strongest servants need mental restoration. So no matter how strong you think you are, no matter how many people rely on your prayers, on your sustenance, on your provision, you need mental restoration. Psalms 32, verse 3 to 4. When I kept silent, my bones wasted away. King David experienced guilt, depression, and isolation. Suppression only worsened his pain. But when he confessed, he was free. This is why you need a chamber as men. I've attended so many female conferences, and at female conferences we are told, have a prayer room, have a war room, have this, have that, right? But I have never really heard in the conferences of men that I've attended where men are being instructed or told how to pray, how to structure their prayers, or how to be vulnerable with God himself. So it says here he confessed. You don't need to tell us what you're going through. You need to have your own chamber and your corner with God, and you will be set free. It's okay not to be okay. Like I said, Jesus wept. That is John 11, verse 35. God understands sorrow, grief, and anguish. He walks with you through the darkest valleys. So this is how we begin the healing process as men. We speak up. Silence is not strength. If there's no money for the car this month, speak up so that nenze icebo. Don't go around marrying liabilities, Bobaba. Marry a partner, marry somebody that wants to build, marry somebody with skills. When you know that the darkest of days are coming, you have someone to lean on. Most of your mental health issues are caused by us. And the us that you chose that is out of your pockets. Yes. Choose us who are out of your pockets. Leave the ones that can be sustained by your pockets, so that you are now having mental health issues. Later you commit suicide. When it's very easy, choose someone with skills where you know the darkest days when they come, you have somebody to lean on. Seek counsel. spiritually and professionally. Therapy is not a female thing. You can go, speak to someone. These people are trained to do this. They know what to do, they know how to speak. Spiritually, your pastors also, they're also trained, right? Your elders are also trained how to deal with emotions of many people and directly as per the situation. Rest. Angazi ngibona abantu abathanda ukuphithizela njengobaba. Ngathi indlu iyaluma. Yo, ngathi indlu iyaluma shame. My dad particularly did not like being at home. Ngathi besifake amathethe or something. He would be in the street 24/7 without fail. So rest, sleeping and recuperating helps your body and helps your mind. And you pray in your rest. You know, you have time to yourself. You have time for prayer. You have time to journal. And stay connected. Having a community. You need a community as men. An honest community. Not a community where you guys are going to be making bad financial decisions, bad marriage decisions, just bad decisions in a nutshell. Have a community that holds you accountable, number one. A community that nourishes you, and a community that you can lean on. Your healing honors God. You guys are a representation of what Christ is to the church. Amen. If you fail to work through your mental health, you mess the whole system going down. And all the problems in the earth that we face today are because of you, unfortunately. They start with you, unfortunately. And until you own up, until you heal, until you take accountability of the things that happened to you that were never your fault, we still have a long way to go. And Christ is not going to come yet until you fix the structure that he gave you. Once we fix that, once we know that, then we are able to fetch people from outside. Can you imagine you fetch Nthabiseng from outside, you bring him to the church? We don't address mental health issues. We don't address his problems. We don't address 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sooner or later, he walks out again. We find him in the streets. He's drinking alcohol. He's doing all sorts of things. We then judge him. But because we are not healing within ourselves, we do not know how to accommodate new souls. So our healing honors God. Like I said in the beginning, your worth is not your wallet. If you have attached your worth to your wallet, you still have a long way to go. You need to identify yourself outside of material things. You need to identify yourself outside of making money. Luke 12 verse 15, a man's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions. You are more than what you provide. You are what God says you are. You are loved, you are chosen, and you are enough. Men of God, rise not in pride but in vulnerability. Let your healing be your testimony. Your scars are not shameful, they are proof that you're still here, and God is not done with you. Let the tears fall, let the healing begin. You are not alone, you are seen by the Father. June reminds us, but God's love never forgets. So speak, heal, and rise. Thank you.